Hi, good morning everyone. Welcome to the virtual class. So in today's session we will understand Banking Regulation Act 1949, the basic things. So in this session I just give you the idea of Banking Regulation Act, the importance, the objectives, everything. Sections you have to study on your own because it is all factual information. There is nothing to explain. Okay, but I will explain you the complete concept. So let's understand what is Banking Regulation Act. Banking Regulation Act 1949 is a legislation in India. It is a law that states all banking firms will be regulated under this act. That means all the banks in India comes under this particular law. That is Banking Regulation Act. There are a total of 55 sections under the Banking Regulation Act. Initially, the law was only applicable to the banks, but after 1965, it was amended to make it applicable to cooperative banks and also to introduce other changes. The Act provides a framework that regulates and supervises commercial banks in India. This act gives power to the RBI to exercise control and regulate banks under supervision. That means the basic principle of this particular act, this particular law is giving more power to RBI to supervise and to regulate all the banks in India. And the second thing is making all the banks to come under one particular law. It may be commercial bank, it may be nationalized bank, it may be non-nationalized bank. So making all the banks to come under one particular law. That is the main agenda of this law, Banking Regulation Act. So introduction. See, basically when they came up with the idea of Banking Regulation Act, the name was Banking Companies Act. Then later they changed it into the Banking Regulation Act. It was enacted owing to safeguard the interest of the depositors and control abuse of powers by some banks, personal controlling the banks in particular, and to the interest of Indian economy in general. The Banking Regulation Act was passed on Banking Companies Act 1949 and came into force with effect from 16 March 1949. Subsequently, it was changed into Banking Regulation Act in 1949 with effect from 1st March 1966. So, however, it should be remembered that this act does not supersede the provision of Companies Act or any other law for that time being in force in respect of banking business. That means this law works individually and it is not going to supersede, it's not going to uh, or exceed on any other particular law. So it works individually and it is completely for banking business. So the preamble of a regulatory act. For every law, there will be a preamble. Preamble means it is like a free page. Okay, that gives you the complete picture of that particular law. So here in 2 lines they mentioned an act to consolidate and amend the law relating to banking. That means in one first line they're telling it an act to consolidate and amend the law relating to banking. This particular law or this particular act is the consolidated law, okay, and to amend the law related to the banking. So they can change the rules and regulations related to banking whenever they want, and it is a consolidated rules and regulations for all the kinds of banks in India, whereas it is expedient to consolidate and amend the law relating to banking. So it is all completely related to banking. Then what are the main objectives of Banking Regulation Act 1949? So before understanding the objectives of Banking Regulations Act, I just wanted to tell you a few things. See, Indian banking system works with three important acts. One is RBI Act, and second one Companies Act, and third one Banking Regulation Act. Before 1949, the Companies Act was taking care of most of the banking operations in the country because banks were registered as companies. But it was observed most of the banks were having poor financial health. When I say poor financial health, I am referring to reserves and provisions condition and liquidity condition of banks. Apart from this, most of the banks started failing. There was no proper legal framework to take care the depositors' interest. Because of that reason, okay, government came up with the idea of Banking Regulation Act. That means we need a separate law to regulate the banking system in our India. Okay, so now we will look at the objectives. The first objective is to safeguard the interest of depositor. Just now I explained. So there were a lot of fraudulent activities in banks to safeguard the interest of depositors, because depositors must have some trust on the banks. Otherwise, how they can deposit their money? Correct. So just to protect their interest. So to safeguard their interest, government thought to bring this new regulations act. And second objective is provide specific legislation containing comprehensive provisions, particularly to the business of banking in India. That means there must be specific rules and regulations, and it must be pertaining to banking business in India. Third objective, prevent such bank failures by prescribing minimum capital requirements. And also in those days, there was a huge failures in banking. Okay, so just to avoid that, just to prevent such bank failures, they started prescribing minimum capital requirements. That means if you want to start a bank, you must have minimum capital. For example, 5 crore rupees or 1 crore rupees, you must have minimum this much of amount. Okay, and in that also they started prescribing the rates like CRR, SLR. You must keep this much of portion. For example, 3% of your deposits with RBI, that is cash reserve ratio, and maintain 18% of deposits with bank itself in the form of liquidity. It may be cash, it may be gold or securities. Okay, so why they're doing all these things, why they're prescribing this kind of things means just to give security and to prevent bank failures. Fourth objective is ensure the balanced development of banking companies. And also the banks, there must be stability in the bank's development. So just to ensure that balanced development of banking companies, they brought this Banking Regulation Act. And our fifth objective is give powers to RBI to approve the appointment, reappointment, and removal of the chairman, directors, and officers of the bank. That means giving complete power to the Reserve Bank of India to control all the banks in India. So that is one objective. Then the last objective is facilitate strengthening the banking system of the country. And of course, to strengthen our banking system in our country, they brought this Banking Regulation Act. That means by providing some guidelines, some rules and regulations, government trying to strengthening our banking system. It may be giving more financial assistance to the banks, maybe commercial banks. In that way, they're strengthening the banking system in our India. These are the main objectives of Banking Regulation Act 1949. Then, why it is important? The importance of Banking Regulation Act 1949. it is very important because I told you the reasons to protect the interest of the depositors. It is very important to strengthen our Indian banking system. It is very important, and to avoid the failure of banking, so it is very important. These are the general reasons. Now we will look at some other reasons. See, the first point why we need this Banking Regulation Act, or why it is important, means Banking Regulation Act gives the power to RBI to license banks and also to regulation of the shareholding. That means this act provides complete power to the RBI even to issue license to the bank and to control the banking activities in a country, and they can issue some policy rules and regulations to the banks in India. So it is giving complete power to RBI to supervise, to regulate the banks in India. So that is why we need this act. Okay, that means Banking Regulation Act giving legal support to the RBI to control all the banks in India. So that's why it is important. Second, it grants power to RBI to conduct appointment of the boards and the management members of banks. So of course, it, and I told you, it gives complete power. So in that, one power is it grants power to RBI to conduct appointment of the boards and the management. So to conduct a board members meeting and to have a conversation with the management to take better decisions related to banking system. So RBI is having complete power. It also lays down directions for audits to be managed by RBI and control merging and liquidation. So this Banking Regulation Act 1949 also important to lay down the directions for audits. That means how RBI must do the auditing to all the banks in India, and also to control the merging, liquidation. So for all these reasons it is important. RBI issues directives on banking policy in the interest of public good, and can impose penalties if required. So I told you RBI is having more power just because Banking Regulation Act giving legal support to that. So RBI can issue directives on banking policy. They can issue any guidelines. They can cancel the license of any bank if a bank is not following rules and regulations with the public interest. Just to protect the interest of the public, okay, in favor of public, RBI can take any decision against any bank. Recently we had an issue with the S Bank, and RBI said, okay, SBI, State Bank of India, you go and take the stake of 49% of the S Bank, correct? So like this, RBI can issue any guidelines. Last point is cooperative banks were incorporated under this act in the amendment of 1965. So earlier it was only banks used to come under Banking Regulations Act. Then after amendment from 1965, even the cooperative banks also comes under Banking Regulation Act. That means now, as of now, all the banks comes under this Banking Regulation Act 1949. So this is why we need this Banking Regulation Act. This is why the Banking Regulation Act is important. There are some different provisions of Banking Regulation Act. This is just for your information. There are some 5 different parts, okay, and in that 5 different parts there are sub parts, and there are different sections. Please just go through once. It is not necessarily you must remember all the sections. It's not at all necessary, but go through once. At least you must know what is there in that act, in the Banking Regulation Act. Just to know that, go through once all these different kinds of sections, what exactly they're telling in those sections. Okay, what kind of provisions they're telling, what kind of powers this law is giving to the RBI. Okay, what exactly they're prohibiting for the banking companies. So everything you can understand if you go through these sections. So I hope in a simple way you understood and you got an idea about Banking Regulation Act. I will share you the complete Banking Regulation Act PPT, okay, which contains all the sections, so you can go through with that sections. I'm not covering those sections because it is factual information, one thing, and second thing, in a virtual class, even if I explain that, it may be boring because it is completely law. I can only tell you it is there in the book. There is no nothing new to explain. Okay, so thank you so much. Have a nice day. So just go through the Act, Banking Regulation Act. It is important for your exam.